I don't know if I should ask you once again whether you have heard the story of how it all started, and should I start from the beginning? Of course, we'll take, I don't know, 3-4 days sitting around here till the story comes to today. But indulge me, because in a very, very succinct, short manner, if I can, I think we need to just pause here, maybe, and welcome our special guest whom I can't see because he's perhaps behind the pillar. We've got a special chair for him because he requires 2 chairs. But so, just right there to begin with, then we get you up. Thanks. Rahul, bagal mein bithao na. There you go. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I was, in fact, you walked in at a great time because I was, and you may not have heard this, so this is especially for you and of course for everybody else who may not have heard. I'll try and put together a now 10-year story. Almost 10, 9.5, in the next 2 or 3 minutes. So it did all, in case, you know, how many people have heard the story right from the top? Now I'm risking this. Only one? Okay, so yeah, 2, okay, 2 or 3. So it's okay, give me 2 or 3 minutes. I'm sure you can afford that. So it began with 2006, the Asian Games at Doha, you might remember, in Qatar. And I was, and this is not about me, in all humility, I was called upon to do the world feed commentary for kabaddi, and I actually said yes. And I said, oh, I said yes, but now, you know, ab to seekhna bhi padega, you know, because you can't go to the Asian Games and talk about kabaddi and commentate like, I mean, you've got to sound like you've been doing this for 25 years, you know, every day. So then I went around this journey around India. I went on this journey around India to rediscover where the sport was and what was it, what had it become, what were the new rules, everything. So, you know, you had to sort of do all your homework. Homework's always king. Homework's the key. And I was amazed to discover the power of the game, the popularity of the game, anywhere, everywhere, at any level. The smallest of tournaments to the biggest. Whatever temporary stands that could be built outdoors, as the game was then held, except a little bit indoors, was full. And full to the point where there were as many people outside an arena as inside because they couldn't get in, no space. And people who were sitting on the stands wouldn't get up. For 4 or 5 hours, they wouldn't get up, they just keep watching the game because they said, or probably thought, agar main nikal jaunga to meri seat chali jayegi. I can't get in. So, thank you, I'd love the lights there. So, I said, wow, you know, what an incredible game, because as a sportsman, you appreciate the kind of athleticism that's going into the game, the kind of effort, the kind of training, the kind of, you know, incredible gymnastic ability of all these guys and the toughness of it all. And that's when I went to the Asian Games and I commentated on the sport. There were other nations. It was indoor. It was on a mat. It was all sophisticated. It looked fabulous. And then, to, you know, a couple of small stories. At the Asian Games in Doha, the first game to sell out, 3 months before the Asian Games, was kabaddi. So that was a revelation. And of course, full stadium, people coming in, other members of the media couldn't get a seat, couldn't get a look in. Every evening we used to have a discussion, and all the Goras of the world used to meet and say, Charu, please tell us more about this fabulous sport. We haven't seen it before, and it just is magnetic. And so that convinced me that it wasn't just a one-man brigade. I think everybody, or so many people around the world, actually appreciated the sport for what it is. Now, I know it's all dressed up now, which it deserves to be, but the intrinsic quality of the sport was what drew all of us into wanting to do something more. And that's when my story with the Amateur Kabaddi Federation of India started. I said, come on, you guys, you've done so well to bring it to the Asian Games. Can we now take it further? Because according to me, in our own land, in the land of Kabaddi's origin, birth, it's our heritage sport. It's our unique, ancient heritage sport. And I don't want to sound any more patriotic or nationalistic than any of you here, because I know all of us are equally nationalistic. But I did feel that the game somehow had not been given its due. Not just because it was our, or is our unique heritage sport, but also because it's a major international sport. And despite that combination of being our own sport and also being a major international sport, because by the way, to get to the Asian Games is a very, very tough proposition. And Kabaddi had managed that. So here was a sport which was appreciated around the world, or certainly around our continent, and in our own land, people were still, if I may say so, with due respect and humility, was not appreciated. Was people were still cynical about it. Somehow something was missing. Some piece of the puzzle was missing. And that's when, a bunch of us got together. I got hold of Anand, and who, as we know, Anand Mahendra, are very sort of India-focused. And I said, can we please do something about the sport? Because it deserves much, much more than it's getting at that point of time. That's how it all started. It took very long because we wanted to do it right. Not in a hurry, but to do it right. So what did we have first of? A very proactive federation, which may be a little rare in our part of the world. A very proactive federation. They said, yeah, you want to do something, you want to take it forward, you want to dress it up, you want to bring it in all its glory, we'll help you. And they did. So we got hold of this long-term contract, which was a start. And as we know, one important part of the media is the electronic media. And in that respect, if live sport is not on television, then it has very little chance of, going across to many, many more people in its physical form. And at that point in time, and this is a really long story, and most of it's a really terrifying story, but the end of it's fantastic, because there we were with Star India being given the mantle of Star Sports as well, and there, I don't wish to speak for them because Anupam is here and I'll introduce him soon enough, but luckily they were India focused, and all of a sudden an opportunity came up where they said yes, and television came on board, which was so important, and that of course was the big game changer. The next big challenge, of course, was to get eight like-minded individuals, people, who would take this, and I use this term all the time, but I'll use it one more time, this incredible, completely blind leap of faith with me and Mashal, saying, you want to do a kabaddi league? You can imagine the reactions that I got from 92 out of 100 people, but 8 understood what we were trying to do. One of them is here, and I thank him once again, or thank the group once again. Sorry, Gautam, I don't mean you're as much a part of it, as we all know. And they said, yeah, okay, we'll go with you. You can imagine that point of time, their support was like, the first drop of rain on parched land. It was fabulous. And so the league happened. And many, many long stories, which I will now not bore you with, but it was an incredible coming together of what was, and I'll say this once again, a crusade. It was nothing short of a crusade to bring back to the glory deserved our own sport. And I thank you all once again for riding on this journey with us, for doing your bit, which was massive, and I hope will continue to be massive. And at the risk of sounding a little greedy, I'm always hoping for more. If all of you, all of us can take it forward, can bring out the essence of what Star Sports Pro Kabaddi is as we go along this journey. After all, we're only 2 seasons old. It's fantastic. Okay. Did I take more than 3 minutes? I probably did. I beg your pardon. But here we are. Let's move along now, because I keep mentioning that one of the biggest game changers, which is obvious, was television. And why should I tell you the television story? Even though I could, but I'll probably take very long. There's somebody here who will probably take a little less long, because he's a man of few words, maybe. But I'm delighted to present to all of us today the man who is the engine behind Star Sports in their quest to leave no stone unturned in taking the game forward through Star Sports Pro Kabaddi and perhaps many other initiatives. So do please welcome warmly Mr. Anupam Goswami. I'll show you how warmly. Thank you. But what does applause mean? We're all warm-hearted towards you and your effort. So Anupam, all yours. Just a quick note from the Star Sports angle. And thank you once again from the bottom of my heart for doing everything that Star Sports has so far, and of course will continue to.